Alrighty, welcome back. We are doing Human Fortress with Lord of Earth and Heaven's Heir. This is an awesome album. Man, you guys don't know this, but man, we had to restart this album like five times because we all kept on yawning, we all kept on laughing and giggling and stuff. So I hope I hope we're in like we'll still have a good time, but man, I hope we do this some justice because it's been a long week probably for all of us.
Yeah.
But we're going to close the week off with just some good old fashioned power metal, heavy metal stuff. Human Fortress, me and Kevin got into them probably around 2004 or so, around there. There was a show, or excuse me, there was a place in Tampa, it's a CD store that we would always go to. It was in Suitcase City, and we would always frequent there and buy CDs from there. And those guys were really cool, and they had a lot of cool used metal albums. So we saw Human Fortress there. We didn't know what it was, and we were just kind of like, this looks like metal, just by looking at the cover. And we went home, checked out 30-second clips online because, there weren't like full songs or whatever. And we decided to gamble on it. And it was such a good album. Like, we were blown away. So yeah, I just wanted to pick it today. And it's a really fun album. This is something that's more along the traditional power metal lines, because like power metal kind of came from like the heavy metal camp, and then it started getting faster, like kind of more melodic or whatever, in the late 80s and 90s. This comes from that camp, but it's not really like the Stradivarius, epic, kind of like neoclassical kind of power metal stuff. So if you like your metal to be a little bit closer to the more traditional metal side, this is power metal that kind of fits that. And they also have kind of a medieval kind of sound throughout, because their lyrics usually have to do with like, I don't know, ideology, culture of like the Middle Ages and stuff, or like some kind of myths and things from Middle Ages. So yeah, that's kind of what we're doing. Do you want to go along here and share some of your thoughts, Go?
Excuse me. Yeah, I do think for Ian and I, this album is kind of one of those classic metal albums. We really enjoy this album. I know Divine Astronomy was the song that like really hooked us in, and we were like, oh man, that chorus, man. And this guy, forgive me if I mispronounced his name, but it's like Geodi Picarides or something like that.
Something like that.
Picarides, but
Yeah, Picardus.
I think he's one of those power metal vocalists that's kind of underrated.
Yeah.
The musicians and whatnot, they don't really like blow you away like, oh, this guitar guy or that drummer guy or whatever. But together, they just sound really good together. So it's not like a virtuosic band or anything like that. But man, I really think that this vocalist is very unique and has his own little kind of style, and so I'm glad you're picking this album today, because it's one of those classic metal albums for me personally, and I'm just like, this is gonna be great.
It's one of those albums that when I hear people talk about power metal in general, nobody ever mentions this. Like, if somebody mentions the band, they might, I don't know, like, here's some like obscure, or here's like some under it, but it's never like in the forefront of like metal discussions. And I feel like, kind of like what you were saying, like everybody does a good job at like their synergy is really well in this band. It's not like any individual member like totally shines, except for the vocalist. I think he shines a lot. But the fact that they're just great songwriters, they're great metal songwriters, and I think that that's really what I like about this band a lot, because a lot of the songs on this, I'm kind of like, man, if this came out in the 80s, it would be as heralded as like, I don't know, Bloodstone or freaking, like some of those classic metal tracks, like,
right.
I think it's a great freaking album,
I agree. It's just the late 90s, early 2000s, it was like this music, it was like a dime a dozen. There were so many bands coming out doing this type of music, and so I think this album and really this band kind of got tossed into sort of like, another limb music, Gallow Glass, Luca Trilli, so many limb music bands just kind of got tossed as like another one. But
these guys they got something special,
Yeah, and so I think like when people do know them, they're pretty well respected, but like it just hasn't really broken out. Plus,
I didn't do a power metal album yet, and I was like, man, I kind of want to just do a power metal album. I'm still going to do some other obscure genres or bands and stuff, down the road. But every now and then, I just want to do something that's like,
tried and true.
That's like a tried and true, yeah.
We did go through this album with you, Chad, like probably like 3 years ago. But going into it today, I guess you kind of know generally what you're getting into, right?
Yeah, for the most part. But
yeah.
I won't be able. Well, who knows? Maybe something will come back and be like, "Oh, hey!" But one time, a couple of years ago, like,
Yeah.
and you guys have shoved so much power metal. So I gotta.
You know, I know what I'm getting into. More Kevin Ian's crap. No, I'm messing.
Yeah, but like, so I think I have an idea. So yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, we did a sound test, and I got to hear the voice a bit, and I think I know what I'm getting into.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't have much more to add, but definitely like try and support the artist, buy the album if you're not very familiar with it, support the artist and wherever you can. And we will be rating it just like we do with every other album. So yeah. I don't have much more to add though.
I don't have much more to add too. But I just want to jump in this and let's have a good time listening to some Human Fortress.
Yeah, buddy.
The first track is called The Dragon's Lair.
Ah, typical.
Just some more power metal
Yes.
Here we go.
Here we go. Talking about dragons and stuff. One day we are going to do a video to talk about power metal because power metal is a genre that's so easy to just be like, oh, it's all just this typical stuff. But there is some variety in the genre, just like there's variety in all genres of metal.
Yeah.
And I think that this isn't like a left field kind of pick for power metal. They're not reinventing the wheel. They're just cruising along, you know? And it's just like, man.
I think there's a lot of metal genres like that, where like a person who doesn't love the genre will be like, oh, it's just another thrash band, another black metal band. But people that are into the genre, they'll be like, no, this is unique. Yeah. This is special. And then someone on the outside will be like, sounds like everything else. But to us, we're like, this is a unique album.
This is awesome.
This isn't like anything else.
Yeah, the songwriting is so good, and it's an amazing album. But it's just like, I know that they're not like reinventing the wheel here. You know?
Yeah.
But it's not like every band that I see, that I listen to is like, they got to do something so different and unique for like, I don't know, sometimes someone just writes good songs, and that's what these guys do. In spades. All right, you guys ready for this Dragon Lair?
Let's do it.
Here goes, Dragon's Lair. Already old school metal sounding. Guitar and the keyboards down. Straightforward, but guitar's just going. Nice say Dragon Scales, I don't know. I feel like it should be Scales.
Woo!
Woo.
The bass. Yeah,
All
buddy.
right. Yeah, I think I'm gonna give that one a 9.5. It's a great opener. It kind of gets you into what they're about, you know. But there's other songs on this album that I just love a lot more, you know. But I love that song, but it just doesn't reach that 10 perfect mark for me, you know. I think it's because like it is really catchy, but I don't know. It's like I can't just throw 10s to everything, you know. I'm giving it a 9.5. That's pretty dang close. What do you want from me?
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna be really biased. I mean, I like this album a lot. You know, I'd go between a 9.5 and a 10.
Marching to our doom.
Yeah, I think that's a great
Skills, man.
opener.
Dragon Skills.
I'll give it a 10. What the heck? I'm feeling generous today because, like, dude, I it sets the mood. It's just everyone's doing their thing. The drummer, like, it just, I don't know, man. It's just so well put together, and every time the vocalist is just like, insane, but it falls off right, and I'm just like, yep. No, everyone's just freaking rocking out, and I'm like, yeah. They done did it. So what can I say, man? I'm freaking biased. I know it maybe doesn't deserve like the masterpiece 10, but
You're giving it to him, man.
I'm giving it a 10, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that song. I think
Kevin,
the
there's nothing wrong with
vocalist like hits those notes, and it just it's got a lot of personality. What can I say? It's got personality.
I feel like the singer guy, he does like give it his all. Like you can kind of tell that he's like, I don't know, he's got a lot of energy to it, you know? Like he doesn't sound like very smooth like someone like Roy Khan or something. Like he doesn't have the smooth like kind of power metal-y voice. He sounds like a dude that's like, I don't know, giving it his all, if that makes sense. Sounds more
Go ahead.
Go on. I'm trying to find the words, so go ahead.
Does he seem gruffer to you
He
than other
does,
power
yeah.
metal?
Like,
Okay.
only in certain like parts though.
Yeah.
Because other parts like he was getting high, dude. And I was just like, and he was keeping it. And the other parts he'd have like a on it, and I'm like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
But I guess like.
Because he sings he sings in a band like I don't know if he still sings with them or I forget their name. I don't know if it was called, it's not Extreme, but it was just kind of this rock band or whatever. You'd have to look it up. Anyways, and like I think maybe people feel like his vocals are more of like a rock vocalist doing metal versus like a Bruce Dickinson kind of.
But yeah, I was gonna say it Iron Maiden, it definitely reminded me of Bruce Dickinson like in certain parts. So I was just kind of like, but. Man, you guys, my rating.
I feel like there's a desperation in his voice that really fits with the song. That's the word I was looking for. Like it just sounds more desperate and more, you know.
He's not as
surviving the dragon. And
surviving the dragon, yeah.
Okay.
Well, he's not as like gruff as like the Savage Circus, Persuader, Blind Guardian or whatever. But he's not as light as but he's not as high as like. Timo Cotobelto, so he's just kind of in the middle.
Yeah, Freedom Call and all that stuff.
Yeah. So, what do you give it,
Chet?
I mean, I was digging it, but like just from this first song, you guys, I don't know if I'd ever listened to this on my own.
Yeah.
Probably just a 5 on that one for me.
Yeah. Just average.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah, I know. When you guys were like,
that's okay.
When you guys were giving 10s, I was like, oh crap.
This is great.
Yeah.
Dude, Chad, don't you see the vision?
No, that's okay. Yeah.
Should we move on to the next song or?
Sure. Here is Black Age Toil, or Under Black Age Toil. There we go. like an Iron Maiden kind of one. This is like Iron Maiden to me.
Made in Denmark.
Made in Denmark. Check it out. Yo, they living.
Yo, they be doing it, man. I'll give it a 10. I don't care, man. I'm biased and I don't freaking care. Okay, so mid-pace songs with power metal and stuff bother me. You know, there's a lot of like kind of generic.
You give this a 10?
Oh yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. I give this a 10. Mid-pace songs bother me. I've heard a lot of generic sounding mid-pace songs, and sometimes a lot of power metal bands, it's all about the speed. And then they've got like a mid-paced song where they don't do a whole lot. This song, on the other hand, there's a lot of melody, there's a lot of feeling. It's going like in and out. It's like the vocal melodies. It's like the bridge is great, the chorus is great. And this is the type of mid-paced song that I just love. Because if you're going to be mid-paced and, you know, still kind of give it something
like
a little more.
When Sonata Arctica goes from Blank File to like My Land, you know, it's like a slower song, but they add so much cool stuff into it that you're just like, it keeps things going. Just because they slowed the tempo down doesn't mean that they're not gonna do like cool stuff still.
Yeah, and I like that guitar solo. It did sound a little bit of like a hard rock solo, not like just you know, it was just
busted out.
But. Yeah, I thought that was a great song. Real quick, can you bring up the lyrics?
Sure.
I really like that line. It reminded me a little bit of almost like a Camelot Fourth Legacy feeling or something, where it's like if you're doing something but you don't quite believe in it, or scroll down. This line here, I love this. He's like, "We won't leave our father's land. We won't learn trial patience for a customary cross." To me, that's a line of like, dude, we're doing this like true blue. We're not doing this just to be like a fake cross to carry or something. And it reminds me of like just Fourth Legacy, the sort of like, why are we on this crusade? Why are we doing this? You know, it just, I like that line. We won't learn trial patience for customary cross.
It's like, yo, man, Pestilence. This song is like about the freaking Black Plague.
Yeah,
that's what it seems like to me.
Yeah. It's just bad times living.
I like in the first bit when they're talking about devils and stuff. You always, it's like the superstitions at the time, you know, where like everyone's dying. It's gotta be evil, you know. You know? But at the same time, you know, like people back then, the fact that they were just holding on to like, oh, we need to pray and we need to do this and stuff. That's really sad when you're thinking about people dying of freaking this plague, you know. That's kind of heartbreaking because they're like, we want to do whatever to like relieve our suffering and live, you know. Like that's pretty.
It's like, yo, get the rats, get the rats out of your house, you know, like get the rats out.
Get some irrigation, and you know, like, you know, duh. No.
But the cost of learning things like generations and decades and centuries of death and everything just because they didn't know any better. So I think it's cool. So what do you think, Chad? What do you think, Chad?
I was actually digging that, dude. Like I don't think this is gonna become a band I listen to a lot after this, but like for right now, I could see myself listening to that song on my own. I'm gonna give that an 8, dude. I was really digging it. There's just a lot of parts I was just into, and I feel like the music really matched the kind of the message, just the death and the sickness and all that. I thought it was kind of just going with it. Kind of had like that somber feel. Like I was enjoying it.
Yeah, definitely more somber than the first one.
Yeah. And he definitely stayed in lower ranges vocally. Like during the time,
he still got high, but
lower.
it did seem more of
Yeah. I'm not sure. I might give that 9.5 or a 10. Fudge it. Today's the day of biases. You know? I do like that one. I love the whole like guitar is very emotive. Like the whole.
I couldn't call the part out, but I wanted to. I was like, that was pretty sick.
Yeah, like, and then he's just like, on the Black Age tour we live. You know, I don't know. I think that's awesome, and that whole part after the solo when they're all whoa, whoa. I don't know. It's just it's cool to write. It's cool to. It felt Iron Maiden-y to me. Yeah, like I was listening like a couple days ago. I listened to Somewhere in Time. Yeah, and that album is like the saddest sounding Iron Maiden album. And you know, like there's something about the lead guitar melody. That album's fudging. Man, that's an amazing freaking album. But yeah, something about like the lead guitar melodies and the vocal harmonies. When you're hearing a song like the loneliness of the long distance runner, like there's just something kind of more morose about that album compared to like other albums where they're just like the number of the beast, you know, like they're like more rocking out and stuff. Yeah, you know, it's like some of their albums are more rocking out. Those are like cool still, but there's like more emotion. I feel like in Somewhere in Time, and I feel like this song kind of maybe like taps into that kind of sound a little bit, you know, because there's a little bit more emotion in this song, even though it's just still a cool like kind of heavy metal song, you know. Are you guys ready to move on to Lord of Earth and Heaven's Heir?
Yeah, let's do it.
Alrighty, here we go. This song lyrically reminds me of Symphony X, like the Accolade or something.
Freaking learning how to wield. And...
but we'll talk about that when we're done. After you guys.
We can talk about it now.
We can talk about it now. All right, here is Lord of Earth and Heaven's Heir. I don't know what this means. You guys ever get the feeling like most Latin doesn't mean anything?
It's like those Asian tattoos everybody gets that just say like ketchup or something.
Yeah. They all say German. I think it's Latin. I'm curious if they even have Latin, because it's like a dead language, right? Yeah, they don't have Latin on there.
You'd have to just put it in the Google search, like, because by don't say translate. I always thought it said welcome ghosts. That's kind of a cool visual.
medieval sounding.
Even the chorus sounded a little medievally.
Yeah. It's like people are like listening to this while they're eating a chicken leg.
It's a goblet in their hand.
Yeah, goblet and stuff.
Like that weight and stuff.
Yeah. Some of this reminds me a little bit of Blind Guardian, because Blind Guardian does have a little bit of minstrel kind of sounds and stuff that they blend in every now and then, but
A little heavier snare going. I think that goes out.
yeah.
80s freaking Bonnie Tyler snare.
I never really noticed that, but yeah.
Man, that song has some great lyrics, so.
Four.
In like 1 year when we're doing this channel, we're all like, no man, it's fudging 3, man. No man, it's a 10. You know, we're all like,
We start arguing with each other.
start arguing on now.
Start having fist
No, but
fights
like
over ratings.
yeah, over like ratings. No man, that's an awesome metal song.
Oh, well, what would you give it? 4.5 is more correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Chad. Yeah, what are your thoughts?
What do you think, Chad?
Okay.
I mean, I know it's not going to be like 10s and stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It
It's
can't be.
definitely not my shtick. Like,
Yeah.
it's not my.
Oh, metal?
You said it. No, dude. Like, because I was thinking about like the whole like. I hate to bring this up right now, but we're doing it. All right. Like the whole acid bath thing. Like, because I was thinking about some of the lyrics, and I was like, yeah, man, some are cringy, but some just make me like, oh, fudge, yeah. And I'm like, but then like I'm listening to this, and there's like, it's like they have their fudge, yeah, cringe in a different way than freaking acid bath does. So I just feel like whatever I guess you gravitate towards more just is kind of just gonna be your thing. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
agree.
know.
I agree.
Like,
yeah. Because this is not going to relate to some people. Like, they're just going to be like,
No.
what? You know?
Oh, medieval, like in the medieval chorus and just some of the stuff going on. But like, I still think that stuff's kind of cool, but I guess not enough to just completely immerse me in it. But
Yeah.
I probably like with the other one, probably I'd say a 6 for that one.
Yeah.
6. I think it's better than average, but
Not as good as track 2,
Yeah.
but better
Two
than
was-
track 1.
yeah,
kind of
exactly.
thing.
Yeah.
Kind
Yeah.
of trying to be somewhat. Oh dang! Oh, take it away.
I'm just laying them out here. I just figured.
Yeah, I know.
I might as well put all the numbers in for me and Kevin. No, I'm messing. I give it a 10. One thing about that is like, one thing I never understood was why people loved Iron Maiden. And Iron Maiden talks about like warfare of all different kinds. They'll talk about different literature and stuff, you know. But then when power metal bands do those same things,
some
people are
reason
like,
it's
for some
geeky.
reason it's like dumb
Like
and
cringy.
like cringy and
Like,
stuff.
why is this
and I'm like,
cringy
why?
and,
And
like,
Iron Maiden's
Iron
die
Maiden's
with your
not?
boots on or something is not.
No.
Or so-
Right.
you know, I just never got that. Me personally, I love both. Like, I think both of them are awesome. You know, I don't really have like this or that is better. I think they're all cool. But I love how, like, I was mentioning to Kevin before we started the song, like, this reminds me of The Accolade from Symphony X, because it's really talking about the whole, like, you have to have this pure desire and you have to be, like, grow up strong and be true and whatnot to be, like, this noble knight or something, or noble crusader or whatever, you know? And I do think metal is kind of cool as a genre, because thrash, death, power metal, all of them talk about warfare, you know, in different ways. And I think that's really cool. Pop music doesn't really talk about war, you know?
Right.
But I think it's cool that they're kind of talking about the sort of like self-righteousness that you have to convince yourself to freaking run into a field with a sword and go, die infidels, or whatever, you know? Like, you have to have a certain level of like self-righteousness or believe that your path is true and God's will.
Ideologues.
In order to, you have to be an ideologue.
You gotta be a zealot.
You have to be a zealot, you know?
Zealot, yeah.
And I think that this song, you know, and I do think that, yeah, that's kind of out there, you know, but at the same time, you can't help but admire a little bit that sort of like overzealous attitude in some ways. Even though we all agree that, yeah, if you go overboard with any overzealous, no matter what it is, if you get overzealous about anything, sometimes it's like you could get a little crazy, you know? But I just really kind of admire that sort of like, you know, the sort of like the lyrics in this song I think are just really cool. That sort of like quest for nobility and being true, and that's tied to your valor and battle and stuff. I think it's just kind of cool, you know. I give it 10, but I like the lyrics and I like the melodies and stuff, and I like the ending. I think it's just an epic kind of song.
I think the song structurally is interesting because you've got kind of the first half of the song, and then they've got that spoken word section, and then they just kind of end with the triumph, you know, you know, and it just triumph the outro. I'll give it a 10. I want to tag on a little bit of what you're saying is like one of the things that bothers me is like, okay, when I listen to power metal, I'm not freaking going outside and going, you know, I'm not like, you know, throw on my chainmail, you know, I'm not. But when I listen to power metal or whatever, I try and take it in a more modern kind of
interpretation
or a way that can relate to me. And it bugs me that some people take this literal and like, but other genres they won't take, like they'll be like, oh well, they're just saying that, they don't really believe that, you know, they like, but it's like some genres they'll give them a pass, but then they'll take this as like literal and stuff, and it's like, dude, like I mean, I get it, okay. There are power metal bands where they're straight up dressed up in freaking, you know, whatever. I get it. It's
part
like,
of the show and part of the presentation.
And that's the thing. It's like it's storytelling, dude.
It's
like
story.
It is storytelling. Like even just through lyrics, like with any violent stuff, with medieval stuff, and just getting stuff out of it, and
like
if a band dresses up as Leatherface, you know, that's kind of just the fun of what they're going for. They're like we're playing crazy death metal and we're all gonna get chainsaws and stuff,
we're gonna spray blood and chop things up, like
like gore, you know, like it's just
fun,
that would be like an amazing show to see. Like,
but I get this impression like, oh, these guys really are nerds and stuff, and like they're like this, like off screen, you know.
They don't even have a job. They just play like RPG games all day.
Right.
You're like,
probably live in the mom's basement.
Like a bunch of D&D guys who, you know, and I'm just kind of like, I view it as more as like a presentation, you know, not as like, oh, these guys are really freaking like a bunch of LARPers or whatever. I don't.
And even if they are, who gives a fudge? Right?
Yeah, that's true. I just don't like when folks take any kind of metal genre or even kind of genre of rock and then just being like, people that like that are like this, you know, or like that. I just don't really like any kind of simplistic sort of, you know.
I just don't like the pick and choosing. You know, why one person gets the grace and the other person don't, and the other person gets the pass, and you know.
And like I get why stereotypes exist, but it is kind of annoying when you just it's an end all be all. It's like, you know, if you
Now I'll be honest.
I thought I was gonna go somewhere with that, but
well, I'll be honest. I don't know what these guys do in their spare time. Maybe they are freaking going out there. You know, I don't freaking know.
Who knows, you know?
But I just know for me as a listener, I'm like one of those like. I'm a normal guy. like
gosh dang it, I am normal.
I am normal. But like even growing up and stuff, I never got into like. I was always like, be a normal person in like regular life. You can have your fantasy, your hobbies, your this and that. That's fine, but you know, try and like have like this social cohesion with people around you. Don't act like an idiot and make people uncomfortable, because it's like, dude, just it's uncomfortable for people, you know. So, anyways,
I love how people watching this are kind of like, these guys are really like, they're really stuck a nerve for this.
They're like, me thinks they'll protest, but I bet you are wearing chainmail.
You know, and no, but it's just one of those things that I do see a lot, like just stereotypes or generic kind of
like me growing up. I was kind of like the Jim guy from The Office, you know, Jim, who like on Halloween would do nothing. Halloween, you know, I don't like dressing up. I don't like all the, you know, it's just, you know.
He doesn't dress up for these videos at all. Not at all.
I don't like Halloween. I don't like wear a costume much and whatever. But like it's fine. I don't mind people dressing up, but I just don't like dressing up myself, and like, you know,
it's just not you.
It's just not my kind of immersion. I like just immersing in the music and what they're going for, and anyways, that was probably a tangent that we didn't have to go on.
But you know, whatever. We did it.
Whatever, we did it. There it is. Alrighty, you guys ready for Divine Astronomy?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. So hopefully whoever's watching is still like engaged enough, and they're like, no, let's get to some freaking music.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Some more.
Divine, it's kind of like whatever people know. Here's Divine Astronomy.
All right.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Even the keyboards sound like more gothic-y or something, or maybe only to me. Like, to me, this sounds like Judas Priest or something.
Remember the song?
Alright.
Alrighty.
This is yours, Ian.
This is mine, huh? 10. 10. 10. 10. Okay, I love that freaking song. I like it because it's like kind of like about the whole like religious persecution of science and stuff. You know, that's a cool like topic, you know, like you know, they're like, yo, burn that guy for saying that, you know, the sun is like, you know, like we're going around us instead of the earth being the center of the universe, you know. I like the lyrics. I think they're really cool. Like, I'm just going to read just this part so that people who aren't reading it know what he's saying. So he says, I'm the devil, I'm hellbound. It's not the sun that turns around. They've built a monument of lies. Scientists, blind, faithful lies, you know? So there's this idea of like, you know, you scientists are making people like disbelieve in God and whatnot, you know? So we gotta burn this mother, you know? We gotta get him to a stake, you know? And he's like, he's devil, man. Dude, that's evil to say that science and whatever, you know? Yeah. And that's just kind of a cool topic to like sing about or whatever, you know? So I like the lyrics of this song, and that chorus is so freaking good. One thing I never understood also, and sorry, you might hear this a lot from us. I know Chad's heard this a million freaking times, so it's like a million, you know? But Iron Maiden will have like all these songs that are in like major scale and whatnot, and people will be singing the crap out of that. But then a power metal song will have like a major scale happy sounding chorus, and people are like, gay. And you're just like, what? You know, it's like you were the one that was singing, you know, go on your way. In these wasted years, you know, like, and you're the one freaking going, can I play with madness? The prophet says, you crystal ball, yeah. Can I play with madness? And it's just like, so, I don't get it, you know, I don't get
bunch of fucking hypocrites.
You hypocrites. But it's just because Iron Maiden is such a household name, and the artwork and stuff, like, I think that a lot of people feel like they can't say they don't like Iron Maiden, so they all have to say they like Iron Maiden, but culturally, it's okay to dog all the power metal stuff, because that stuff is not as, like, metal, like, you know, cultural, like, you have to like this in order to be a metalhead. And I just think that's really stupid, because I think that I'm not saying you have to even like power metal. You don't even have to like Iron Maiden if you don't want to.
Right. It's okay to not like Iron Maiden.
It's okay to not. You can like whatever you want, you know? But I just don't like this idea that somehow power metal is some bastard child of metal, and it's over there, and it's all the lame European stuff. And then only metal is about being tough and fudge the man.
Like, dude, like,
we
could probably do a whole video on just this topic.
We could, yeah. We've talked about it for years. But it's just, and that's the thing is like, as long as you could enjoy metal, enjoy music and stuff, that's you know, but I mean, I think it's okay to talk about stuff that you're like, I don't fudging get it. Yeah, I don't freaking get it, you know? Like, I don't feel like, you know. Anyways, so that's just something I wanted to throw out there.
The thing, too, is like, you know, like power metal, it does deserve some criticism, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, like every genre, like everything. Yeah. Like, it's not like, and so it's not like we're trying to be like, run cover for power metal or whatever. It's just that growing up here in America, it was, I think that, like, especially you and I in school, man, we're still complaining about it. In high school, we didn't understand, like, we would share something that sounds similar to Iron Maiden with a kid who's got an Iron Maiden shirt, and he would say that sucks, and then we're like, wait, this is kind of what you like, right? Yeah. But it wasn't, because it just wasn't acceptable.
And he probably didn't even listen to Iron Maiden. He just got the shirt and Hot Topic, and he just listens to freaking metalcore and Korn and freaking the stuff that was big in America. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. You can like those genres, you know. Right. I'm just saying that in America, there is this idea of what is metal and what's not metal, and they were just ignoring this whole history of metal. Like, all these folks didn't listen to Iron Maiden, didn't listen to Judas Priest, didn't listen to Rainbow, didn't listen to Halloween, nothing. That whole history was ignored in America.
Well, dude, like, remember back in the day when you guys would show me power metal and I'd say it sounds too happy? Like, I'm kind of one of those guys, like that happy melody and that happy chorus, like, I just wasn't used to that in a lot of my metal. But you guys did point out the Iron Maiden argument, which is, that's a foolproof argument. It kind of got me to be like, yeah, Chad, you should probably give some more stuff a chance. So
when did that click, though? Like, over the years, like, because if me and Kevin were preaching the church of freaking power metal for a long time, when did it finally click? Or, you know, when was it?
It was a slow process. It was gradual, dude. Because, like, I would hear keyboard solos and they'd sound off to me, and I'd hear, like, the real wee, 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 wee. I'd be like, is that a guitar or a weird squilly guitar or what the heck's going on? I don't know. It just took a while for me to kind of get used to it, I guess. Yeah. But there is power metal I can definitely enjoy, which I'm glad, because I like to broaden, you know, my metal. And I'm glad I listen to it, but I'm not just going to like all of it, I guess. And I don't know how hard it would be for other people who grew up with, like, the American metal scene, I guess.
Yeah.
I wonder too if Europe was different. Like if you grew up in Germany or if you grew up in Europe,
Yeah.
if
They had
this
the
kind
opposite
of power,
problem.
yeah, I wonder because like I mean I wonder if they have like they heard like a lot of power metal and stuff and they were like, oh, so sick of it or something.
Yeah.
Like I know like when Hammerfall was getting like I don't know how many like. Forgive me, guys. I don't care about the whole platinum, whatever stuff. But Hammerfall, I felt like was like a big deal, and some of their records were selling so much that they were actually getting recognition for how many sales they made. And I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but I feel like something happened in like the late '90s, and then all of a sudden, like, whoa, people are buying power metal and stuff, and then boom, we got a ton of it. And I wonder if like in some areas, like we weren't oversaturated with power metal growing up. Like we weren't over, but
Dude,
I wonder if
I
some
wouldn't even
places
have really
were.
heard of it if it wasn't for you guys.
Yeah.
Honestly, like,
Yeah, and people probably wouldn't have heard of it without the internet, you know.
Yeah. And especially Guitar Hero and Dragon Force.
Dragon
Yeah,
Force
that
paved the
was
way.
another, like,
Dragon Force kind of opened it up.
Right,
You
for
know,
America.
For America,
kind of thing,
yeah.
But
But the years before, all the power metal in the 90s and stuff, like I think it was still an underground genre, just like other kinds of metal. Like the 90s in general in America, I think a lot of metal genres were pretty underground.
A lot of metal struggled in the 90s.
Yeah, death metal, black metal, all that stuff was still in the underground in the 90s, you know?
Right. Going back to the song, I do give it a 10. I think it's got a great chorus. These guys, they do great with their bridges. I love how he says, but I wasn't ever there, but I know it all. And then just, I'm the devil. Great transitions, and you're just like, yeah, dude. Like, it's just a great song, man. And we used to play this song a lot back when we were like in high school.
We jamming it with Jake in the car. And we were all just like,
playing it a lot, and we were just like, Divine Astronomy. So
yeah. Well, one thing that's funny is like, here's the funny thing, and here's why I'm kind of bringing it up. A lot of people, like, for metal that was, like, popular, I watched, like, a metal headbanger's journey, and they're all like, yeah, I'm the outcast, I'm the, misunderstood one, and, metal was like a home, where us misfits together. And nowadays, in popular culture, you've got millions of fudging misfits. You've got freaking, like, Suicide Squad, kind of, it's a certain trope nowadays where all of a sudden the whole like it's cool to be a goth or it's cool to be a whatever is like the mainstream in the last like decade, and it's just kind of like it's like, dude, man, be a fudging power metal person.
Yeah,
that's even rarer. That's even rarer in America at that time, 20 whatever years ago, because it's just it's I just find it fun, and I'm not saying like, oh, boo, nobody liked my music, like
I mean,
but
a little bit,
but at the time I was kind of like, dude, I was like the only metalhead that didn't fit in with the whole metalhead scene, all of them were in their own kind of stuff. They didn't want to listen to my stuff, and I was kind of like, yeah, guys, I don't know about As I Lay Dying or whatever you guys were into. And I'm not saying like I'm more open to that stuff now because I am going back in time and checking all that stuff because I was so like, nah, man.
You bought some grindcore albums, so
I'm coming around to a lot of genres that but it's just kind of it's weird whenever you've got a subgenre of like outcast whatever people that are actually the scene or actually the popular scene, and then it's just kind of like
I don't think you guys.
It doesn't seem as like I don't know. It just seems.
Well,
I don't know.
I mean,
Can say what I was trying to say, but saying it better.
Well, just look at your Rate Your Music profile. The fact that there's like a guy with a suitcase, and then there's like 50 punk lady guys, and like, hey, look at the conformists.
Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from because I grew up with you. Yeah, it's funny. I'll share this story real quick because growing up, I was always against the grain, no matter what. I was like I've mentioned many times to like my friends. Growing up, that "Pretty Fly for a White Guy" song really hit me hard, and I felt like in elementary school, middle school, if you were a wannabe, it was like the worst thing you could be. So don't be a fake, And so when I would try and be myself, I felt the most comfortable with myself because I felt like I wasn't lying to myself. I felt like I was being true blue. And that journey of trying to be honest with yourself, be true blue, I would get in arguments with people or about like what's true blue, what's hardcore, whatever, because there'd be like a bunch of people out, like just for instance, a bunch of people would be out drinking or doing drugs or whatever. And then I'd be like, no, it's more hardcore to freaking like not do that because so many of my friends were struggling and so many people I knew were making poor choices.
Yeah.
But it was just sort of like going with the flow. And I remember I was arguing with my older sister, and we were talking about, I think like at the time, System of a Down, I think like the Hypnotize, like Mesmerize, like albums just came out. And I remember, and she made a really good point because I was like complaining that, yeah, all these people like System of a Down and, you know, they're just following the flow and whatever. And then she was basically in I can't remember exactly what she said, but she said like, it's none of your damn business what other people like and enjoy. Just let them enjoy it, you know? And I was just like, oh, you know, and she was right. She was right, you know? It's not up to me for what people enjoy or what their reasons are or whatever. I am being the judgmental a-hole, you know, by saying that all these people whatever, you know, and so it's hard because it's like if we're just trying, like I want to try and come at a point of explaining where I'm coming from, but I don't want to take anything away from other people.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to take anything away from, you know, their own journey through life.
Yeah.
I just know that for me, when I would try and explain my journey and my music and everything, there was no ears to hear it. You know what I mean? So it was just kind of like, all right, well, I'll do my thing. And maybe everybody feels like that. Maybe everybody feels like no one cares what I think. No one cares.
Dude, I talk to people about Coldplay all the time, and they're just like, you lame, so-and-so. No.
But I remember that, like, that was 20 years ago. My sister told me that. She was probably just like, shut up, Kevin. I don't want to hear your crap, you know. But it was a good lesson of, like, quit complaining about what's popular. Quit complaining about why people are doing things. You don't know them, you know. And I was just kind of like, yeah. And so it kind of put me in my place.
What do you think, Chad? What's on your mind?
Dude, like we're not even talking about like music anymore. You're like, I just okay. I mean,
so much philosophy combined. Yeah.
I don't know. I like that, but at the same time, I don't like that because I don't know. Like you have your experiences, and no matter what, like no one else is gonna have your experiences.
Right.
And if you go through life and you see people doing this or you see people doing that, it can get on your nerves, and you can ask yourself, why are these people into this? Why are these people doing this? And I think it's okay to ask those questions, but like, but being judgmental and being like, oh, you're just this or you're just that, like, even if you're right. But I just, I don't know. I feel like it's just really complicated, but like, I just, the base thing you're doing, like, to try not to be judgmental, I think that's cool. Like, I think that's something everybody can work on, but.
I think it's just kind of, I saw so many people. And I know that I was kind of like an outcast, like kind of person in high school. Like I had no friends. I hung out with you in lunch, you know. Like it was just.
I had friends, guys. No. I didn't have friends either.
I didn't. You know, we did have Spencer and Jake. You know, but we didn't really see them like super often.
Jake went to a different school too.
Yeah, so. Jake. Yeah, but it was just kind of like. It's weird when you have this, and I do think it is kind of a good thing. The fact that people are listening to Marilyn Manson and Nine Inch Nails, and they're like, awesome, I'm really connecting with this. This is making me feel good. That's a good thing. I'm not saying that's like a bad thing, you know. But I'm saying that like the things that I was connecting to, I couldn't share with anybody else, you know. And that's just kind of the way it is. So that's why I'm bringing up the whole, like, you know, who's a true, so quote-unquote rebel, because I literally saw everybody just following the crowds when it came to everything in high school, you know? And I was just kind of like, I don't know about that. You know? I don't know. And that's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with me going my own way, too.
And that's the thing. It's just a difference in philosophy. I have my own beliefs that I follow by, and when I don't follow
I
it,
have Kevin's beliefs.
when I don't follow it, it bothers me. It frustrates me. I can be a little bit of a jerk sometimes, but I'm not trying to be. I'm just trying to.
You're just really strong in those beliefs.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be as honest as I can. And if someone were to do something that like, oh, it's okay to try and fit in, or it's okay to do that, or you know, they could have like a different belief system.
Like, no, not for me.
Right. Exactly. You know, and so I don't want to be at war with other people's endeavors. You know what I mean? I don't want to be at war with other people's beliefs. You know, I would enjoy hearing why they do what they do, you know? And some people are much more like I was talking to somebody and they were, I'll keep their name nameless or whatever, but they really wanted to fit in. You know, they really wanted to not feel bad.
Yeah.
When they were picked on, then they would go and pick on other people, you know, and we're talking 20, 30 years ago, you know, but because they were so uncomfortable being in that position that they were willing to compromise and to do things so that they were no longer the target of you know, attacks or whatever, you know, and I'm just kind of like, yeah, I understand where you're going, and anyways, we were talking about like how he built himself from that, you know, and I don't, like, I understand why he did that, but I don't even believe that he's fully happy with some of his decisions that he made, you know, but it's all a learning process, you know.
Yeah, that's true. There's nothing wrong with fitting in with people, but if you're compromising your values in some way, or like living a lie or something you're not comfortable with, then don't freaking go along with it.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
That's one reason why I liked punk rock when I was younger, and maybe that's why I wasn't fitting in with people, because I just didn't feel this need to fit in, and it's just kind of like, that to me was a benefit, because I saw so many of my other friends kind of going bad paths just because they're like, come on, Ian, just everyone does it, you know. I heard that crap all the time, you know, whatever it was, you know, like whatever the vice or whatever, and it's just kind of like, and I'm not saying that they're like bad people or something. I'm not saying that they're like, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, sometimes punk rock is a good thing. It's good to just try to think for yourself and not freaking go along with what everyone says you should do. You know, sometimes that's a good thing, you know. Yeah. Sometimes it's a bad thing if everybody's actually right.
Yeah,
and you're like
fucking,
like, you know, you're like, no, man, I ain't doing that. And everyone's just like, yo, man, you got to wear pants at school. You know, you can't come to school without your pants. Come on, man. You're like, no. You know, I don't know.
But real quick, yeah, I guess, are we done?
Oh, I mean, do you want to say something, or should you want to go back to music?
Let's go back to music.
Okay. Yeah. I've shared my piece.
Yeah, I'm just sharing all this because this was like my mindset at the time, and this was like how I perceived things in high school.
When we were getting into this album, it was like different and like unique and whatever. Yeah.
All right, you guys ready for Stroke of Fate?
Yeah.
Man, this is gonna probably be a long video, but that's okay. Here is Stroke of Fate.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
What did you rate that one?
What was that?
I'm gonna give that one
10. Okay, fine. I'll take a 9.5.
Okay, let's do
It's been a little while.
Well, yeah, because like you guys have shown me that song before, and I remember the chorus, like the happy sounding chorus, would always throw me off. But I was kind of like, oh man, let's get. I think it's up there with 2. I'm gonna go with an 8.
8.
Yeah, I did enjoy that song.
Respectable.
Nice.
Respectable.
All right, here is Stroke of Fate.
Hell yeah, man. Dude, that's a freaking 10. If I ever
That was a banger. That was a banger.
If I ever-
That was a banger, dude.
Can I say
Freaking
one thing real quick before we go into that song?
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I put it in like if the video or whatever in like a negative vibe with
Like an us against that
us
thing?
against mentality and stuff. And I think one reason why us three got along really well is you also were into a lot of stuff that nobody was into,
Yeah.
and we gave your stuff a shot, and you gave our stuff a shot. You
And
know,
it's like, dude,
And I
that's
think
what's awesome. Sharing stuff you enjoy
Yeah.
with people, and if you can get a reaction from them, even if it's not like the best reaction. It's just it's nice to share things with people
because
that you enjoy.
I remember when we were younger, you were showing me Slayer, you showed me Rigor Mortis, you showed me a ton of stuff, and so I think that's kind of like. I think that's something that kids really need is they need friends that you can share with each other and whatnot. And even if you can't share with like people at school or at large, if you find cool friends that like doing the same things that you like doing or like giving each other stuff, then that's cool, you know. I'm just glad I had that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I just wanted to like you know, kind of rather than just being like pissing them on.
Fudge everybody.
Man, no, but if they were friggin' punk rock, like oh yeah, or whatever, you know what I mean. Instead of going on some stupid rant, you know.
I really like the lyrics in the song. I give it a 10. I'll read the chorus lyrics real quick. It says, "I can shatter my mind and hide what I feel. It's not the right way to lose myself." Again, I'm glad we did that whole discussion about, you know, being true to yourself and everything. Because, dude, all these lyrics are all about that, you know? And this is one of the songs that, like, I didn't really get into when I was younger. But as I've grown older and checking it out, I was just like, dang, this song is so freaking good. And I love that outro, the way that he's just exasperated. Being, oh God, come on, you know, it's like hell yeah, dude. That's freaking, such a great song musically and everything. And so I give it a 10. And I won't add much more, but freaking that was a great song. And what can I say, man? I am freaking biased with this album.
Yeah.
I recognize that, but I freaking love this album. I do think this is one of those like top power metals of all time. I think this should be like up there
in those top 25 lists.
Like top, maybe not top 10, but like, dude, it's a great album. I thought they did a great job. So what do you think, Chad?
I was actually really digging that song, dude. I think the lyrics definitely helped, and just I don't have a ton to say about it, but just from the first listen, I'm gonna say a 9 on that. It's probably my favorite song so far.
Nice. Lyrics can like help a lot. You know?
Elevate a song more. I love, like, I'm giving that one a 10 as well. I love in that last part where he's like, I can earn the way I feel. It's not the right way to lose myself. You know? Like, there's something about that melody that's like, I don't know, maybe a little somber, but it's just, I don't know, I love that freaking, the way it ends like that is just really cool to me. And I like that the verse section's faster and stuff. And it's, I like their use of keyboards in this band, you know?
That's one thing that, dude, like power metal, like I'm not super happy with the last like 10, 15 years of power metal because it's so much focus on like the melody, high notes, you know, whatever. Like power metal needs to delve more in melancholy. Power metal needs to delve more into like sad. I agree. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Like power metal needs to do more of that. And it's just kind of like you don't have to sing about, you know, the typical stuff like you can still have the sound, but anyways.
You can still be unhappy power metal. There's nothing wrong with that, you know. In fact, there needs to be more of it.
Yeah, exactly. There needs to be more.
No, I agree with that because, dude, I do kind of get tired. Like when genres like just kind of like stay in this one vein or one vibe or something, I get bored of it. It doesn't matter if it's power metal, thrash, death metal, whatever. If it all is just kind of doing this caricature of the genre. I've heard this before. Yeah, it's like I want genres to kind of branch and venture out more. And, you know, sometimes if someone does like a traditional thrash or traditional, I don't know, power metal, sometimes if they do it so well, then you're like, okay, I don't care. It's just freaking awesome. But for the most part, I do want it to try and do more interesting things, you know.
Yeah, true that.
So the next song, The Fortress, is like a short instrumental. So we're going to do that one and lead into Amber Dawn, track 7. So you guys ready for this one?
Yeah, let's do it.
Alrighty. Here is The Fortress and then Amber Dawn. We found the heathens, my lord!
Freaking like Lords of the Realm. Yes, my lord.
Yes, my lord. Bayonets! I don't know. They didn't have bayonets, but
Yeah, but
yeah, whatever.
Yeah, sharp stuff. So.
Yeah, sharp stuff, you know.
Fight man ready.
It's just good music, man. Slow going bass action.
That just sounds cold. It just sounds cold.
This is like heavy metal guitar. 80s. Solo time. Finger tap. Got that
Then they go back to the fortress, the little instrumental lead.
It's fitting that they go together.
Yeah. I think you started this one, Chad.
I'm glad you picked this album up. You know, it's pretty dope.
I've been meaning to for a while, but dude, there's like dozens of albums that I'm like, I've been meaning to do this. So eventually, I like this album a lot. This is a great album, though.
Yeah. Woo.
It's kind of weird, dude. Like the first song, I was like, "Oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna enjoy this." it seems like it's getting better and better for me. I don't know if I'm just getting it. I don't know why I'm kind of getting into it a little more, but I
should not like this.
I'm too metal for this, guys. I'm too tough for this crap. You know, like.
It's definitely got an emotional angle with this album and with power metal. Like it's got a lot more feeling. I feel like.
No, it's not just play super fast and do little twinklies.
Yeah.
I can't believe they call keywords twinkly sounds.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, I do. The past does hurt.
Oh yeah, it hurts. Man, dang, dude, and even like with the whole like instrumental at the beginning and the end, that was pretty sick. I think I'm gonna go with an 8 on that one.
Nice.
8.
Ian, we're doing it. We're really
You guys are
winning
just doing
Chad
10s
over.
on the way,
We're
aren't you guys?
doing it, man.
You guys-
We're winning
I
Chad over.
got a piece so bad, guys.
Oh, okay. That's okay. I'm giving that one an 8. I feel like that song is a little bit longer compared to the earlier ones, you know. Track 3 is like 6 minutes, but it never feels like it. This one, they kind of go back into the whole
Like a lot.
a lot.
Yeah.
They go back to that part like over and over and over again, like 6 times or something. And I kind of feel like maybe if they cut out like one of the verses or something, then I feel like it'd keep me more engaged. I do agree with Chad though, like the whole like intro and outro part, that's really cool, you know?
Yeah.
And I do like the lyrics and stuff, but this song doesn't capture me as much as like some of the first songs do.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9. I agree. I feel like every time Jody comes in and starts singing, I'm like, oh yeah, here we go. But for whatever reason, they felt like the structure of the song, we need to stop, have the music take over for a bit, and then go back into the vocals. Then stop, have the music take over again, and then go into like the chorus or go into the, you know.
Yeah.
I think like I agree with you. It does kind of just, you know, it kind of, yeah, it takes its time. You know, it takes its time to like move on.
Yeah.
And I still enjoy the song. I like some of the things and some of the music going into it. The solo was fantastic.
That solo was really good.
You know, and but yeah, for whatever reason, they just really wanted to go back to.
I mean, it's a cool riff, but you don't need to do that part like 6 times in the same song.
Right,
you know?
right. So I totally get it. Yeah, but yeah, it's pretty good though.
Yeah. You guys ready for the
wow,
bell?
that wasn't a 10 for you guys.
No.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it wasn't. Yeah. We were like talking about how like it goes back. It kind of like it's a little bit too long. Like, do you remember that riff that keeps on? It would do like a verse and then do that, and then a verse and then do that again, chorus and then like verse, do that. They do that going back to that riff part like so often in the song, and I wish that they kind of sped things up, didn't keep on going back to it. But I don't know. Someone that really loves it would be like, no man, Amber Dawn.
They'll be like, you guys screwed Amber Dawn.
Yeah, screw Amber Dawn, man. You guys ready for Forgive and Forget?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right,
this
one's
is the ballad.
Ballad, yeah.
I love piano. What can I say?
I like piano.
It's pretty freaking good.
Yeah. Oh man. Sometimes I don't care as much for something, and then sometimes this song fucking hits.
I know.
You know?
I know.
It's yeah.
Whatever mood you're in sometimes.
Maybe time is my wounds and I'm crying. Think to myself, this feeling in my broken heart seems to die. I've am a gullible fool who ignores each warning. I'm still trying to forgive and forget. These endless lights can't go on. I'm still trying to forgive or regret. Mistrust man, I can't forget these days. Save me. I need support to be strong now. I don't like this game from now on. I know for sure that I am doing to recover. I'm still trying to forgive and forget. These endless lights can't go on. I'm still trying to forgive or regret. Mistrust man, I can't forget these days.
Yo, forget about it.
Yeah, just forget that.
Forget about it. This whole piano part coming, this is really cool.
Yeah. Let him
Really,
kind of break
really
out a little bit.
pretty. Yeah.
Yeah. Flex a little bit. I mean, it's simple, but it's a little more. I like the focus a little higher.
It's cool.
I'm still trying to forgive and forget. These endless lights can't go on. I'm still trying to forgive and regret. Mistrust mine, I can't forget these days.
I'm glad, like, no drums. And I'm glad. I'm glad. You know,
Yeah, I don't like the drums either.
like, you know, there
Well,
wasn't
there's a time and a place, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm still trying to.
You know, like, it just.
Or the ever dreaded, I'm still trying to forget. Yeah.
We don't want none of
I
that.
don't want that.
No, sir. You're like, dude, you guys are talking through the emotional outro.
When the piano's like, me, I'm like, I felt that. You know?
It goes, woo, woo. And I'm thinking it's more like, wow, wow.
Wow. What's that on
It's
again?
Arion, the
That's
human
right,
equation.
that's right, yeah.
Yep. You look at the bonus disc
Like,
and you're like, you
yeah.
know, I'm trying to see. It's supposed to go like a wow, wow, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking it's more like wow, wow.
Yeah.
I forget what the song
Yeah.
they're talking about.
He was like comparing different keys.
yeah,
how they
yeah,
sound
yeah.
and stuff.
His what do you call
Yeah.
that? His freaking analogs,
Different keyboards,
and Korg,
things.
whatever stuff. Yeah.
Whatever keyboard thing. Yeah. Who
yeah,
do
this
I
is
start?
you, bro.
This is me.
Yep.
You know that song? I like the chorus, but I don't love the chorus. You know, but the part that I love is when he's just like, maybe.
Yeah, the talking
Time
part.
away days I'm just a gullible fool. You know, I love that. I love the verse sections. And I really like the piano a lot in that song. I think the piano is really cool. It's like I know that it's trying to be like a touching ballad and whatnot. But it mostly works for me. You know, it mostly works. But it's just
Just there's that maybe 10% of time where it's just
where
not
it doesn't
quite,
work as much. Yeah. I think 8.5 for me. What do you think, Kevin?
I'm gonna give it a 9 also.
But I don't know how to make the song better though.
Yeah.
I don't know what it needs.
I like it for what it is. It's just not the kind of song or sound that I'm like masterpiece. You know, it's I guess it is a bit straightforward, and
it's a little long too. It's 5 minutes for a simple
but
song.
yeah, I don't know how to make it better either. Maybe like that's what they're going with, something a little more straightforward, simple, but it just I don't think it's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Chad?
I'm kind of a sucker for ballads, like that sad sack of I'm gonna go with a 9 on that. I did just kind of like the lyrics were kind of cool, and
I did like the
piano, and I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought the lyrics were good. I like the mistrust will remain. I can't forget
this pain.
or I can't forget the way I feel.
Something like that.
I can't forget these.
Yeah.
Something.
Past
Yeah, I
days
think-
or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I think the lyrics are good. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
A part of me wonders if the chorus was like, I don't know, like a little bit more lifted. Like, I wonder if it just stays too much in a certain vein. For
The
me. I
chorus
don't know.
did remind me of something, but I can't put my finger on what it reminded me of. But
Mariah Carey.
No.
maybe.
Oh, Boys to Men.
Yeah, boys. Yeah.
That's
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It sounded like a melody or some vibe that you heard before.
Yeah. But I probably should just kept my mouth shut since I don't know what it is. But
no, that's
all
I was
good.
hearing it and I was just like, oh, what is it? What is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're good, man.
You guys ready for Damn to Bedlam?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Back to the metal.
The metal.
Back to the metal.
Metal.
Dude, that Book of Heavy Metal song from Dream Mule, that intro when he's just like metal. It's freaking, that's wild.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Look that one up. Look that one up.
Dream Evil.
Alright, Dream Mule, Book of Heavy Metal. Man, that song is freaking metal. Okay, here we go. Here is Damn to Bedlam. This one's cool. I like this one. This one's the most different too on the album, I feel like. It's much more heavier and darker than everything else.
It is, yeah.
It's damn to bedlam.
What are you gonna do with that? You know, Damn to Bedlam.
And the wind goes up to it.
It's like, yeah.
Oh man, we just walked into bed.
It's like, oh, let's just make this song have a dramatic intro. That's how you do it.
Oh, you like my count?
Yeah. Sometimes I That's a great way to go in the chorus.
time of me. Well, it's too late to change greed into greed.
Well,
And history has been done by doing a good deed.
Yo, man, he's like torturing you guys. Like, I don't know about that.
that moment on track 10, you know.
Yeah.
It drives me crazy, it tears me apart. I'm down to the dollar. I caught me almost out of finding
That part was cool.
in my heart.
Slide.
Yeah, dude.
There's no liberation.
Oh, I love it, man. That's cool.
Just pain and madness. I'll never get this away. Till
Keyboard solo. Yeah. And I really good keyboard solo. Oh, yeah.
Is it like the first song on this one?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. You're right. I think the first one did that.
Is it like, what's the guitar and the keyboards are
That was track one. Both of them were on. That part is just fucking gold. That's just gold metal.
Well, you got no chance, bro.
You're screwed.
Can't change greed into creed, yo. It's my turn, huh?
Your turn, yeah.
That's a great song, man. I'm thinking between a 9 and a 9.5. I kind of want to hear what you guys have to say first before I say anything. But I enjoy that song. I like that it just, it's one of those songs where it's I don't want to say like it's all about the downbeat, but like it really does rely on the 1, 2, 3. Everybody in the band, the bass drum, the freaking bass.
It's got that boom boom.
Yeah,
It's got that boom boom.
Yo,
Yeah.
everyone is there for the downbeat on one. Everyone's there for the downbeat on one. I think you guys are misunderstanding what I'm trying to tell you.
No, man, I get it. It's got the boom boom.
Dude, Chad's losing it, man. Yo, Chad's losing it. Like, okay, you did not think of it in that way at all. I'm so bad.
I thought you'd put it like the boom boom. And I was just like, oh man.
I'll give that song a 9.5. It really relies on it's got more of like a heavy feel to it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm saying? Y'all know. Yeah, I'll give it a 9.5. I think that's a pretty strong song. Yeah.
What do you say, Chad?
Yeah, dude, I think I don't know why. It seems like the album's kind of getting better for me if it's just growing on me a little bit more. I still don't feel like it's not necessarily like in my woods of like most metal that I listen to, but I don't know. I always appreciate the more traditional sound. I don't have a ton of it I listen to, but man, I don't know if I'd ever listen to this on my own, but I am giving it pretty high ratings.
Sounds like you gotta start listening to this on your
Yeah, I
own.
might have to start listening to it a little bit. I think I'm gonna go with a 9 on that one, dude. I did that boom boom, dude. It was heavy. Like, yeah, it just had that. A 9, dude. A 9.
Yeah, I changed Forgive and Forget to 8. I think I'm going to give this one a 9 as well. it's got a good beat. You know, it's got a good beat. You know, that's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. It's got a good beat. It's got that boom boom. It's got it all. It's just a good song. You know, gets you moving, makes you want to dance. No. Yeah, I think it's a cool song. His vocals too, Yodi's vocals on that song are fudging awesome, especially in that pre-chorus part. You know,
Actually, yeah, that was pretty sick too.
Yeah.
Going into that chorus. Yeah.
You know, like, you know. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
He'd be going for it.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys ready for the next song, Light Beyond Horizon?
Let's do it, man. Let's do
This
it.
one's kind of like straight back to the straightforward, catchy kind of songs.
Right.
Here we go. Light Beyond Horizon. I like this one a lot. This one's cool. I'm a sucker for catchy stuff.
Yeah, dude, late 90s, early 2000s power metal, dude. This is that, you
I feel like he gives it his all, man. He gives it his all every time. Great guitar. A song like this reminds me of like a little bit of Small Arms or something, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it Chad again?
Am I up?
Yeah, I think. I think Chad's up again. Can you change the last one from 9.5 to 9?
Oh,
For
sure.
me, I think I do like it about same as Amber Dawn. I feel like I'm being a little harsh on Amber Dawn,
Yeah.
but yeah. What do you think of that song, Chad?
I don't know, dude. Sometimes like riffs or leads just can really. I was really digging that, but Man, guys, I don't know.
You're like.
I'm thinking I'm getting a little too generous, you guys.
Oh man, we almost had him, guys. We
So
almost
close.
had him.
Gentlemen, we almost have it.
No, but I think just having that just the old school traditional metal feel to it, and like even his vocals are like he still does the high stuff, which I like, and when it's mixed, I think I like it so much more than when it's just a constant high.
Yeah, true.
Oh man,
Well, at least you're not doing like 5s and 6s anymore.
I think I'm gonna go with an 8 on that one.
That early area was brutal.
That's why I'm almost wondering. I'm like, dude, if I went back and listened to it, would I don't know. I might have to like spin this on my own and just kind of see like.
Yeah.
What's
The
up.
funny thing is like, cause I normally like I'll listen to our videos and stuff while I'm working, and when I went through Acid Bath, I actually did enjoy some songs a little more, and I was like, yeah, like a 4. I mean, it's not
Dude,
like
you guys were doing fucking low, dude.
it's not
I was
like
like,
it didn't like go from a 4 to 8. But it was like, you know, a 0.5 or a 1 here, so like a 5 up to a 6 or like, you know, and
You
so,
liked a little more the second time.
yeah,
first,
exactly.
yeah.
And but
I feel-
that's the hard thing is like when you're not familiar with it, it's hard to be like objective, but also like you just don't know what you're getting into or what you're feeling, and you just never know.
Sometimes you don't know if you're like, oh man, I'm really like loving this, but you don't know if that's like it's gonna wear off with time. Like you don't know if it's just, or you don't know if
The
you're
fluke.
like, man, am I gonna like that more if I listen to it more? You just don't know.
Yeah. So I think I'm definitely gonna have to spin this on my own after this video.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's okay that like giving it a 5 and 6 is like wrong. Like that's okay.
I'm giving that song a 9.5. Sometimes I've given it a 10, but I'm giving it a 9.5. I'm trying to be a little more objective, you know, be more, you know.
So
But
now
I
you
think it's, once we're in the last song, I'm being really objective.
Yeah, right.
No, but yeah, I do like the first half of this album more than the second half. But you know, the second half I don't think it's a slouch. Like the second half is still fantastic. But yeah, not much to say about that song. The guitar after the first chorus was cool. The chorus kind of reminds me of like, do you guys know how the 80s metal kind of bands or 80s hard rock kind of bands like just had like a speed fast, you know, like singing on the road, you know, like they had these lyrics always about like live fast, live free, you know, like kind of like speed demon, you know, and it was just
on
kind
a
of like
motorcycle,
and like the drums would
yeah.
be, you know, like Van Halen, like you know, Hot for Teacher or something, and then the chorus would be the fury and free, you know, and it just reminded me of like 80s hard rock, hard heavy metal.
Yeah, it sounds like metal that like never got popular.
Yeah.
Never got big. Like that metal stuff.
That kind of metal.
Like
Anyways, just threw that out there.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9. I feel like this song's got a great chorus, but I think the talking part is the weakest part for me.
Yeah.
You know, like it maybe overstay this welcome. You know, just you feel good. You know, blow this night away. But then when it leads in, what is right or wrong? I'm like, yeah. You know,
Like, that's don't care about no future. You know what I mean?
It's still a great song though. Maybe straightforward, but still good.
Yeah,
still good.
I agree.
If I was being like really brutal, I'd probably give it an 8 or 8.5. You know, because it's a little more derivative. I don't know if it's the right word. More straightforward.
Yeah,
but
more kind of awesome.
I love that moment when he says, you know, dream more reality, and then the guitar lead comes in. I'm like, yeah, that moment there. Yep.
Yeah,
they done did it.
It's pretty cool.
Anyways,
you guys ready for the quote unquote epic?
Yeah.
Well, this is only 1 minute longer than track 3, but you know whatever.
Still the epic.
It's still the epic. You know.
I don't think it's an epic.
But
Yeah.
Not 10 minutes, but you know. All right, you guys ready for Little Flame?
Yeah, let's do it. Little
Here
epic.
we go. Little epic. There's this one part in this song that is so awesome. I'll know it when I hear it.
Yeah, I know. I already know it.
Yeah.
I put it on my review on that website.
Oh, did you?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Welcome to My Fantastic World or whatever. That part is awesome. Lost in the...
Don't believe you just can walk away. Ups and downs,
Great lyrics. These are some good
Yeah.
lyrics.
Oh, yeah.
I like them. Relatable lyrics.
You're just a bossy fool. Oh, you know you're lost and lose. You never finish school, and that's not I'm a smart boy inside his shoes. Your mind's full of haze, and I'm getting to erase you create. You create. You like you must all play to flee from your desire today.
I'm here. I'm coming.
Yeah, this is the line you're talking about.
Yeah, I like this one. It's cool.
Still believe time goes by. Still believe it's hard to survive. Let it be and see what's real all the time. There's something you just can't see. See what's real. It's hard to survive. It's hard to survive. Wake up and don't be fine. You're a slave for your depression and lies. What else can turn your brain? There's no enough truth in one. What you say? Your life is like an unstoppable ride. I'll live like a galaxy. Sun is like the rain upon sorrow. These wasted days to find a way. I'll live like a diamond to the sea. Come on! Still believe time goes by. Still believe it's hard to survive. Let it be and see what's real all the time. There's something you just can't
I actually forgot about this outro. This outro's cool.
Outro.
It's been a little while since I spun this album. Kind of a cool way to end the album. like a rock
Even the
band, play
singing.
power metal. Compared to other power metal, this stuff is not as fast and not as like
Constant double bass.
Yeah. Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Cool. Man, that's a really hard song to rate for me. It's really
Yeah.
hard. There's some moments I really love, and then there's other
Some
moments I'm
are
kind of like, yeah. But I like that outro, and I like some of the lyrics and stuff for it too. I think I might give that one.
I'm a serial killer.
No,
It is like in like the bottom three, kind of like the worst.
sorry
three
for
of
no
the-
one that understands that inside
Yeah,
joke.
yeah.
But they're like, what is wrong with this guy? No, I'm giving that one, I think maybe a 7. I still like it. I think it's a great
Yeah.
song. But it's one of my least favorites on the album.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8.5. It is one of my least favorites. There are moments that I really enjoy, and I really, but I'm not the biggest fan of the "Still Believe Time Goes By"
Yeah.
section.
Me neither.
That section is just a little bit like
generic.
yeah, a little just kind of, just normal.
You hit the nail
on the
on the
head.
head.
Yeah, somebody ought to hit you on the head. Boing. Yeah, I mean, still a pretty good song. I do like it.
Yeah.
I wrote a review for Metal Archives, and I for this album, I did a review for this album, and in my little, what do you call it, header or whatever, like I put like "Lost in the Depths of My Fantastic World," and I was like, yeah, and I like that line, but yeah, it's a pretty cool song. I like that the song's talking about a little bit more normal stuff, and like, you never finish school, and like whatever.
This is like, all right.
Yeah, it's a little different though for the album, but it's cool.
Yeah.
What do you think, Chad?
Yeah, I did feel like it went on a little too long.
Yeah.
There were parts that I did like, and parts that I was just kind of like, Definitely a hard rock vibe to it, like you said earlier, a power metal band doing. Or what'd you say earlier?
Hard rock band doing power metal?
Yeah, there we go. Jeez. I wouldn't, yeah. Man, probably a.
Wait, are we going back to the 5s and 6s? Chad, I thought we got past this.
we might. Probably a. It's just kind of there, honestly, that one for me, guys. Probably a
Probably like
6.5, yeah. 6.
Yeah,
probably
that's
is.
understandable.
I am totally okay with that one being your lowest rated. I'm not okay with Dragon's Air being 5 now. I'm messing.
I don't know,
It's totally fine. Yeah, it's totally
Like I said, I'm about to do this again, dude.
Yeah, no, it's
Come on,
totally
Chad.
fine.
He can grab us with his demon blood-soaked claws. Come on,
He
Chad.
could have done better.
Yeah. Well, we do have one more song. It's like a bonus track, Masquerade. So we are gonna do that one.
We don't have lyrics, but so
yeah.
we're just gonna talk through the whole song.
I know, right?
No. So let's just do some Masquerade, and then we'll tally it up and get on our merry way.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, here is the bonus track, Masquerade.
Oh.
Yeah. To me, it sounds like 80s hard rock stuff. That's a pretty good riff, though.
demon made. As the hearts of people feel apart, rise upon a man. Black sea rides across
Gotta
the
play it. They're playing it.
when you find this beneath the left side with blood company. Failing between bodies burned, bodies salted and broken, over corpses once had spoken. Freezing ice cold for moments, the unholy fist is still his shroud. It's nothing more than a bloody masquerade. We're not riders somehow who died for dominion. Pestilence burns like a demon blade. As the hearts of people tear apart, rise upon a man. Black sea rides across.
That riff is really good. That's a good riff.
You'd be going for that. 7. Got not much more to add. no, just a normal song. You know,
Yeah.
it sounds like a bonus track. You know,
Yeah.
it sounds like a
sounds like it.
unreleased. You know, kind of.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Probably another 6 for me, just kind of there.
Yeah.
There was, I mean, I did like the riff,
Yeah.
but yeah, just kind of there for me.
Yeah. I kind of agree. The riff was like pretty cool, but not a lot to the chorus and the verse section for me. 6.5 for me. Do you guys want to kind of just share your overall thoughts on this album
Yeah.
while I add up the scores?
We'll have you say the scores, and then we'll have you exit it out. But yeah, Chad, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I don't know, guys. The first song just
Yeah, can you explain that?
yeah, because the dude is like 5, and then everything else is like 8. Like yeah, jeez.
well,
Everything else is
you
pretty
were getting
freaking
more
high.
warmed up though. You were.
I
Getting
think
more
maybe
warmed
yeah.
up.
I think maybe because like I said, dude, this isn't like my go-to when I listen to a lot of metal. But I could see myself like listening to more stuff like this. It's just, man, it looks like this is gonna be one of those bands that I listen to more stuff like this. But I don't know, dude. I need to spin it again because I don't know if I was just getting into like. I didn't know if I wanted to be nicer to it because I was like, oh, dude, it's got that old school metal vibe to it. His voice freaking, that reminds me of it. The music's reminding me of it. I was like, maybe I wanted to be like nicer to him.
Well, even if the kind of old school heavy metal isn't really your thing, that's okay. You know, you don't have to.
I mean, it kind of it is though, and I think I have a respect for it.
Right.
But that's the thing too. There's not like a ton of bands that I listen to that are like old school heavy metal or traditional that I could just name off the top of my head. Like,
yeah.
So I don't, man.
How back?
Just like,
This has been a confusing video. Yeah, I already know power metal is definitely going to be a metal genre that, like, I definitely want the good stuff from you guys. And I know I'm going to listen to more of it, especially when, I get, like, my iPod going and I can actually just pick, like, put a bunch of stuff on there I want to listen to and just listen to it instead of depending on YouTube and remembering bands and all that. So I am going to spin this on my own and maybe I'll have some different thoughts. But, I mean, for this, it was just fun, dude. Like, some lyrics were pretty awesome. The dude's voice was really good. I don't always like the higher stuff, and sometimes like I think the sing-songy choruses and real catchy stuff, it's kind of grown on me more in my metal. And
Right.
yeah, I feel like I might have given this too high of a score on some stuff, but I mean, it is what it is, and it's freaking on tape, so.
What are you gonna do?
So, yeah, it's just, kind of my closing thoughts on it. Like, I did enjoy it. I'm gonna have to listen to it again to see where I'm at, and I think some of the lyrics helped with some of the songs, but.
Right, yeah. I feel like the album really started picking up around track 4 and 5 for you.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Stroke of Fate especially, like then you started like 8, 9, 8, 9, you know.
And looking at my ratings, I'm just like, dang, like, what am I doing?
I was like, good job, Chad.
I just.
And who knows?
Maybe the power of persuasion. You guys,
Yeah, maybe that.
brainwashing me, man.
Or,
and who knows? Maybe it.
We're all.
I wish we started brainwashing you at the beginning of the album. No, it's okay.
But I just,
it's just like sometimes when me or Kevin or you are listening to an album for the first time, it's kind of a cold take, you know?
Yeah.
This is our first experience with it. We don't know what's going to make sense. Yeah. We're just trying to make sense of it. But it's a cold take because we haven't listened to it enough to make like a really accurate or really informed decision. So it's fine.
I'm weird with my ratings, but it was fun going through the album. I did like some of the discussion. I feel like there's a whole video we could do just on some of the things we talked about in this. But
yeah, true.
But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was just, good video,
like a pretty good album.
Yeah,
kind of
pretty
thing.
good album,
I love this album. It's a great album. The rankings and stuff that I put, it makes sense to me. I think I feel like I'm saying a little bit of what I already said with Falconer, where I feel like those who already know this already know it and love it, and those who don't know it, I kind of don't think that they're going to be convinced, you know? I don't think, like, we could really convince someone who's just not going to be into it regardless, you know? Mm-hmm. So, I you look on different websites, and this album and their second album have, like people love it, but it's not under too much scrutiny because no one gets into it.
That's true. Yeah.
So it's just one of those albums that I think like all the people who are already diehards are going to be like, yeah, that's such a great album. Yeah. But like I don't know if you could really convince someone to get into this album. Yeah. You know,
it should be more well known, so it could either be more scrutinized or pass through a test at the flames of criticism.
Yeah. Right.
Because but I mean that's kind of true with a lot of the obscure stuff that we pick. You know.
Yeah. But I think this is a solid album. Our channel, Forgotten Legends of Sound, we want to talk about albums and bands that don't get a lot of hype, don't really get recognized.
Don't get much discussion.
Yeah. And like, I'm glad we're doing this. I'm glad we're going through some of these albums because these are things that I wish existed on the internet. But they don't. People don't talk about this too much or like... go through the album or whatever. And I'm glad we can like give it a little bit more of its due instead of just reading a paragraph about someone saying, oh, it's a pretty good album or whatever, Yeah. So, I really enjoyed going through this with you guys and I enjoyed the conversations and all of that. So, good pick, Ian. I got nothing more to add.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. I'm glad I picked a good pick too. I'm gonna just say the scores and everything, and then I'll just kind of close it out. So Kevin gave it the highest score. He gave it a 9.22. I gave it the second highest. I gave it an 8.86, and Chad gave it the lowest with 7.45. And overall, our score of this album is 8.51. Oh, pretty good.
Almost made it. Almost got there.
It's pretty good. So pretty good. It definitely helps when two people are on board with an album. Versus only one person that's like, this is effective. What are you going to do? Yeah, but I'm glad we're pushing still stuff that you like,
it's like, still fun. And I did some of the conversation because it even made me think like, well, like where was I when I was listening to this? Will I like it now? Is my experience make anything like it just made me think a lot more about it. And,
true. We had a good discussion with that one. So I like this album. Like I'm fairly big into power metal, but I don't know if I'm a huge power metal person because I'm fairly big into a lot of genres. I feel like so many genres I kind of give equal listens because there's just so much good stuff out there. But when power metal, like if I'm tired of just listening to the millionth time to a Sonata Arctica or Camelot or Blind Guardian, it's cool to find these other bands out there that have like cool albums or whatever, and I'm not even a huge Human Fortress fan. I only know their first 2 albums. I don't know anything after that, I remember hearing
the
just
Rated Land is pretty good. I liked Rated Land, but I like that vocalist because that dude is always like guesting on so many different bands and stuff.
Is that the Adagio guy?
Yeah, he was on Adagio's 3rd album, and
Yeah.
man, he was on another one, and I can't remember the guy's name, but I think he was like a Brazilian guy. So it was like he's that guy that
He's
like
the Where's Waldo and
dude, he's the guy that like in power metal and stuff. It's like he'll sing for this band like 1 album. He'll sing like he's like the Gun for Hire kind of vocalist, and so. Yeah, I don't know their 3rd album real well. Eternal Empire or something like that. I know people didn't care for it that much, but I'm mostly familiar with their first 2 and Rated
the 4th
Land.
one, yeah. But I do think this is a fantastic album, and I wanted to do. I haven't done a power metal album yet for the channel, so I wanted to pick a power metal album, and I'll go back to obscure. Dark Cabaret, synth pop, dark wave, whatever crap next, and that's gonna be cool. But it was fun. Just throw power metal in there,
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for joining us, and
I got the next pick.
You got the next pick,
it should be good. Stay tuned. Whenever.
Yeah. Alrighty. Goodbye.